They were down 20. Jalen Brunson was glued to the bench with 4 fouls. The Knicks looked like they were about to get embarrassed again. But then Karl Anthony Towns stepped in, and what he did in that fourth quarter, it wasn't just a scoring run. It was a takeover. 20 points, 1 quarter, matching the entire Indiana Pacers offense by himself. And in one of the most unexpected twists of these playoffs, the Knicks didn't just survive, they sent a message. This is the full story of how Game 3 flipped the entire Eastern Conference Finals upside down, and why it could change everything. The first half was a disaster. The Knicks were flat, disjointed, and completely out of rhythm. By the end of the second quarter, they trailed by 20 points. Jalen Brunson, foul trouble. He picked up 4 quick ones and had to sit. Without their leader, the Knicks looked lost. Meanwhile, Indiana came out blazing. 8 different Pacers scored in the first quarter alone. They were sharing the ball, running the floor, hitting shots, doing exactly what a team does when they want to close out a series early. At halftime, even Knicks fans knew what it looked like. Season on the line, down double digits, no momentum, and then something changed. Karl Anthony Towns had been quiet. Through the first 3 quarters, he was just a piece of the puzzle, but in the fourth, he became the puzzle. Aggressive from the jump, he attacked the rim, buried step-back threes, and started putting Indiana defenders in a blender. It wasn't finesse, it was fury, and by the time the dust settled, Towns had dropped 20 points in the fourth quarter alone, the same amount the entire Pacers roster scored in that stretch. This wasn't just a player getting hot, it was personal. KAT had been doubted. He'd been called soft, passive, overrated. This quarter, it was him shoving all that noise aside and saying, "Not tonight." But let's be honest, Towns couldn't have done it alone. With Brunson sidelined, someone had to step up. Enter Deuce McBride. He came in and made an immediate impact, steals, hustle plays, and 9 huge points in the second half. And he wasn't the only surprise. Thibodeau, known for running his starters into the ground, was forced to dig deep, not by choice, but by circumstance. Foul trouble had wrecked his rotation, so guys like DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet, players who hadn't seen real minutes, were thrown into the fire, and somehow they delivered. The Knicks bench, often overlooked, played with poise and urgency. They didn't just fill gaps, they shifted the momentum. Then came the dagger. Jalen Brunson, ice cold from the bench and carrying 4 fouls, re-entered the game late in the fourth, with just over a minute left tie game. Shot clock ticking down. Brunson danced into the lane and floated up a soft 12-footer bucket. That shot gave the Knicks the lead for good. It was a classic Brunson moment. Under pressure, on the road, in a hostile building, he delivered. And even though he spent most of the game in foul trouble, he still found a way to impact the outcome. That's what stars do. While the Knicks were surging, the Pacers fell apart. In the most critical quarter of their season, Indiana had just 1 assist. Their ball movement stopped. Their pace slowed. Guys started hesitating, over-dribbling, and forcing tough looks. The rhythm that had built them a 20-point lead, gone. Halliburton couldn't find a groove. Nembhard and Hield were suddenly passive, and the Knicks' defense, anchored by Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby, tightened the screws. It was like watching a team forget how to play their own style, and while they were frozen in place, Karl Anthony Towns was scorching the earth. Now here's the real twist. Tom Thibodeau, the coach who famously runs his starters into the ground, was finally forced to go deep. Kenny Smith said it best. Thibs wouldn't want to play 9 guys in a baseball game. But in Game 3, he had no choice. And for once, it worked. McBride, Shamet, DeLon Wright, even guys who hadn't seen the floor in the series came in, contributed, and kept the game alive. This wasn't some genius strategy, it was survival, but it may have changed everything, because now Thibodeau knows his bench can deliver, and if he starts trusting that depth heading into Game 4, the Knicks just became a very different team. Let's not get it twisted, this was more than just a win. The Knicks didn't just avoid going down 0-3, they proved they could steal games on the road without their star playing 40 minutes. They're now 6-1 on the road in these playoffs, the best road record of any team left. Karl Anthony Towns has officially arrived in this series. Jalen Brunson remains one of the clutchest guards in basketball. And now, the bench knows they can swing momentum when called upon. For Indiana, the warning signs are flashing. You can't cough up a 20-point lead at home in the fourth quarter and expect to walk away clean. If confidence starts slipping, this series could tilt fast. Game 3 could have buried New York. Instead, it gave them life. Karl Anthony Towns had his defining moment. Jalen Brunson had his clutch gene tested again and passed. The bench stepped up when no one believed they would. And Thibodeau, at least for one night, let go of his habits and won because of it. This wasn't just a win, it was a warning, because now the Knicks know what they're capable of. And if Indiana thought this series was theirs to lose, they might have just handed New York the keys to a comeback. Game 4 is next, and if the Knicks win again, this series doesn't just flip, it erupts. So buckle up, because what happens next might be even crazier than Game 3.